Hello everyone, this is Professor Ion, and I am here with a new game, and it's called Factorio, as you can see over here in the top right corner of my screen. Now, I'm going to do a little something different. I personally am quite excited about this. Now, Factorio is pretty cool, and it's kind of a hard game to get into. You know, you play the tutorials, and not everybody just instantly gets things like I do. I can play a tutorial and then be set. And then just experiment and play with things, and my scientific mind figures everything out, figures out how things should work, how a good way to make them work is, and that's how I do with Redstone and Minecraft. So, my task here is to go over a couple of the more interesting features in the game, some of the more advanced things, and go over a how to get started in the game. Now, yes, the tutorials do cover this quite well. I'm not actually going to be using the tutorials. And the how to get started is going to be, I will start a new world just for this tutorial. And I will play in it, of course. And the idea is I'll just start over. I will start this world. I'll run through the basics and everything. How to get the different resources. What stages of things you should go to first. And what my suggestion in science research is, even though I kind of went through it as, hey, this sounds cool, let me do that. And sometimes I ended up regretting it, but at the same time, you get things to a point that it's so automated that research doesn't take that terribly long anymore. And then, you know, you need a new thing, a new science pack for research. But we'll get into that in a little bit. And so I'm pretty much gonna close this part out here, and then I'll jump right into the actual gameplay footage. So I'll catch you guys in just a little bit. Later. Alright guys, I am back, and still playing Factorio, and what we're going to do is we're just going to start a new game. Now from the main menu, you hit play, and you can start campaign, which is base your first steps, and then there's base new hope, and these are two different scenario/campaigns. First Steps is more of a tutorial. New Hope I haven't played. I just didn't get there. So, yeah. I wanted to get on and do my own thing. So, new game. Generally, I just leave all of this stuff standard. And you can play with or without peaceful. I'm going to play without peaceful this time to add the challenge of evil things that want to kill me. This is Factorio Free Play. Your task is to prepare the planet for colonizing forces from Earth. Landing ships would be an easy target for attacks from the native bases. However, they can be protected by a rocket defense. You will need to research advanced technologies in order to unlock the rocket defense. Start small, work your way up with automation, and don't forget to protect from the natives. And then it'll give you a bunch of tips. And this pretty much just says, you know, can smelt stone bricks from stone and steel from iron. The steel needs to be researched. Yes, that is a thing. You actually have to research to get steel. You have two sides of belts. The left and the right side of transportation belts can be used independently for different resources. Inserter puts things on the distant part of the belt. I will cover this at a later time, but it makes it quite easy to decide what goes where, so that I can, you know, pick, alright, which do I want to put where? Which of these things do I want to put here? So, I'll get to that. And then, of course, rebuilding. Stone furnace can be rebuilt by a steel furnace without the need to mine the first one first. Similar works for assembling machines, transport belts, inserters, chests, and similar. It can be used to change direction of a transport belt. I will also cover this later. But basically, if you have a stone furnace and you want to upgrade to a steel furnace, you right-click on the stone furnace, the inventory stays the same, and it just upgrades. The same works with chests, which is fantastic. Inserters is nice. You don't have to break them, which kills the flow of things. Invoking the right mouse button on electric pole will open the statistics of the electric network it is connected to. And that is 36 kilowatts, which kind of makes my setup in another base look a little bit lamer-ish. But regardless, it's still all awesome. And they have laser turrets, which is the thing I haven't even researched. So, invoking which just means pushing. Shift and the left mouse button will move the whole stack. Will move the whole item stack when you click on it. So if I were to left click this whole stack of bars here would transfer over here. A transfer command is smart enough to figure out where to move the stack. For instance, performing a stack transfer on an iron axe in the main inventory will have it placed in the tool slot, which is down here. So I don't know why they said axe instead of pickaxe, because I haven't seen an actual axe in the game. We'll get there. Inventory transfer. Invoking control plus the left mouse button will move all the item stacks of a given type between inventories. This can be used, for instance, to transfer all the transport belts from the wooden chest to the main inventory. So there are no transport belts, those are brass bar things. Anyway, invoking control plus the left mouse button allows you to perform a transfer with the selected entity without opening its GUI, which for those of you who don't know it stands for graphical user interface. It's just a user interface that accepts input from the user that has graphics. If the player's hand is empty, the transfer happens from the entity to the player's inventory. So in this case, this person has nothing in their hand, and they left control, and it pulls stuff out of the chest. In this case, they have something in their hand, these metal sheets. Left control and left click, it goes in the chest. This can be useful in the early stage of the game in order to manage stone furnaces, burner mining drills, etc. Every quick bar slot has a shortcut to fetch the item into the cursor. If you already have another item from the quick bar in the cursor, it is returned to the slot it was taken from. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then shift plus 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Invoking Q will move the item stack from the cursor into your inventory / quick bar. So if you just did the control left click with nothing in your hand, and now it's in your hand, you can then use Q, and it'll take that and put it in your inventory or your quick bar, depending on which has the open space. Invoking Alt will toggle extended info. More on this later. And the quickest way to build more stuff, I like the more, it should be capitalized, but whatever, in a straight line, like transport belts, pipe, or inserters, to hold the right mouse button on the place you want them to be built and run to the desired location. This is pretty cool, it's pretty good, though I can't see doing it with inserters because I've never run inserters in a line, because that's just not efficient, because conveyor belts are cheaper. A little bit of graphical glitch going on there. You'll notice that the red suit isn't properly covering the entirety of the blue suit, but that could be intended, I do not know. The fastest way to build electric line is to drag the build key while moving. The next pole will be built on the furthest possible place automatically. So here the guy was initially standing here. He placed this one, held the right click / build button, and moved across, and as soon as it hit the farthest space that these two could still be connected, it automatically placed that item. Pretty awesome. Invoking the middle mouse button on the quick bar slots lets you set what this slot is reserved for. No other item can be placed into this slot, and items of the selected type will always be priorly moved into this slot. So it will keep things organized for you. It's quite nice. It's even better when you get the second quick bar, but we'll get into that later. Usable items are activated by pressing the quick bar key on the corresponding slot. The mouse cursor specifies the place to activate them. For capsules and grenades. So we just push the quick bar key. So if they're like here, shift 4, and then like put our cursor over here, and it just boom, grenade, whatever. By holding shift plus the right mouse button, we'll copy all the machine internal configuration from the machine of the same type built for the last time. This includes the connection to the circuit network. I'm assuming That means that you can, like, copy paste in a line, even if things are connected to a network. So that's pretty awesome. So that's been this. I'm going to cut out real quick, and then we'll go into explaining what all of this means. So I shall be right back. And I'm now back again. So, getting started in Factorio it's kind of funny. It's almost similar to Minecraft. Oh, I thought I actually had stuff in my inventory. I start with some iron plates, which is actually enough to make a pickaxe, which is pretty cool. And pickaxes are nice for everything, from cutting trees down to anything else. We do want some wood. It'll allow us to make things like chests and raw wood and wood that I pretty much crafting stuff. We are, of course, going to want to get some power going, but that's not terribly important right now, because in the beginning everything is steam powered or coal powered. Everything is run on burners and coal and crap, and I'm not a fan of it. So I'm going to grab some stone here, because I'm going to have to make a furnace. And I'm going to need more stone so that I can make a miner, so that I can mine stuff. And mostly because I'm too lazy to do it myself. Alright. That's about 17 stone. That might be enough for 2 furnaces, I do believe. Alright, I could make another one. Might as well. We'll grab some iron. I'm not 100% sure I actually need too much of this right now. I'll grab it anyway. Now, automation in this game gets really intense. Like, really intense. But while I'm sitting here and mining crap, which is pretty much some of the most boring crap that I could do in a video, let me talk to you about some awesome neatness that's going on here. So right now I can pretty much show you every ore in the game. We have stone right here. Okay. We got the iron ore that I was mining. There's more stone over there. There is copper down here. And there's coal up here. Now I'm going to go up towards this coal, because if you don't have coal when you start the game, you're screwed. End of story. You need coal, and you need a lot of it. I don't really care how good you are at the game. Unless you have mods or something, you need coal. End of story. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'll take 4 from here. In case you hadn't noticed, over on the right there, I do have some information being displayed while my cursor is over things. So over on the right, we have my mini-map, and then it says the no research being conducted. I can press T, and it'll bring up research. We'll get to that later. But right over here, you know, this is a mini-map. Right over here is where the stuff's going to come up. And it tells me the mining hardness, the mining time, and how much there is, and then what it is. Now, how much there is, that means that there's 380 coal in that space alone. Just that one space. Now, that seems like a lot, but I've burned through 17,000 rather quickly. Now, if we press M, we have our mini-map. It is, in fact, in all awesomeness, infinite, normally, unless you change something in the world save settings, whatever. I highly suggest against that. Now, if we press Alt, currently there is nothing it does. It switches the more details, whatever, more info stuff. I told you about that earlier when I was reading all those annoying tips. And it'll show pollution levels. Now, pollution will draw bad guys. It's not fun. It's not good. Bad guys will kill you, or at least try. Now, I'm in need of coal. And I'd really rather not have to... There we go! There's some coal. And a biter spawner. That sucks. So I'm probably going to fail at this, but we're going to try. Alright, here's the plan. I'm going to run out of ammo before I kill them all. Yeah. So that's a pretty bad thing to have happen. I probably lost all my things. And I actually spawned in a new world. I didn't know that. So, dying is bad. Why is dying... permadeath, huh? I'm not really sure how I feel about that, honestly. So make saves of your worlds and backup saves always. It's very important. Now, of course, I'm sure as any game, you're wondering, why the hell am I sitting here mining all of this crap? Where does it bring me to? Why do I have this open map? What does it all do for me in the end? Well, fear not, I will get there. And like I said, saving your world is a good thing. So we are going to take a quick moment here, hit the escape button, hit save game. Now what we're going to do is we're going to just select a name for this. So I'm going to call it, caps lock is on, tutorial with an exclamation point. I can't do that actually, it doesn't accept those characters. Then we just hit that, tutorial, save. It also does auto saves rather regularly, it's pretty cool. So I really could have loaded one of those, but whatever. So we got the stone. We got copper here. I have coal. Do I have iron anywhere? Of course not. Personally, I have often found myself resetting a lot in this game. Like, you know, reset the world, because if you don't start with a decent supply of everything in the area, you're screwed. You don't have... I mean, copper you can live without for a while, but importing it from a distance is a bitch. And again, we have a biter spawner right near where I want to start. So that's not a cool thing to have happen. But whatever. Does that mark it as some special thing on the map? Okay, it does. Now we've got more stone down here. Coal, iron. This is honestly, it's not a thing I should do. But because I need the iron, I'm going to. Iron is it's just extremely important and very helpful. Night is falling. It's alright, though. So the first thing we have to do is we actually have to, like, hand mine stuff. Well, that sucks pretty good. Now, I will be showing you, rather shortly here, what all we need. And, of course, we need the coal, the iron, and all that jazz. And let's see here. A little bit more coal. If you stop in the middle, it retains its brokenness. Awesome! I feel like those biters up there are going to be a pain for me here pretty soon, but we'll see. There we go. Put some iron in there. Get some iron plates out of it. If I can get enough more iron plates out of it, then I can make a burner mining drill, and life will be good. I don't have nearly enough wood for a chest. But I do have enough for a burner mining drill. It does take a while to craft, and it also runs on coal. Now, generally in the beginning, I tend to move this thing around. I make my burner mining drill, I grab me some coal, and then I drop this puppy on some coal. Now you also notice over in the detailed information section now, we have the pollution. Pollution, as I said, attracts the bad guys. That's not a good thing, because they will actually attack your buildings and destroy your whatever's creating pollution, because they don't like it. You're not welcome here. They don't want you here, but you're here anyway, so you're going to survive. It has 300 watt energy consumption. Now, when burning coal, that actually does make a difference, but I don't don't remember the math as far as how much coal that burns. Mining power is 2.5 and mining speed is 1.5. And as compared to my pickaxe with a mining power of 2.5 and a mining speed of something crappy, this is pretty good. You should also notice that it says resources and then has the coal picture and 2K, and the number changes as I move it around. That actually shows how much resource are under. Like right now, 0. And then 381. And then it increases as I move it. Now, of course, you generally want to put this in the optimal place. This is not necessarily the optimal place, but it's a place it fits. So right now we're going to make that work. I need to get some more wood, so we're going to run over here real quick. Grab some woodage for a chest or 4. These broken trees, they do pretty great for wood. Yeah, I said a chest or 4, right? Now, again, map alt. It shows the pollution levels. If the pollution level reaches out there, them guys are going to come running. And it ain't going to be pretty. So that is not something that I want to encourage them to do, but at the same time I have to have production, which generally just means I had to kill the things or make things to kill the things, and making things to kill the things is pretty much the way to go. Problem is, pretty sure you actually have to research turrets. Yeah. Right now I can make pistols and magazines. Radars are kind of nice, though, because they give you a keep on where the bad guys are at. And, you know, it's always nice to know where the bad guys are at. So if we put a chest right on the outside of that, this guy's going to dump everything he mines right into that chest. It's going to be pretty fantastic. And we're going to take some of that. I'm not used to dealing with these numbers for coal. I have stacks and stacks and stacks of coal. And it's all, like, auto-managed, and it all runs to where it needs to be. And my pickaxe broke, son of a brachiosaurus. So there goes a bunch of iron plates now. So now I have to mine more stuff. So the early game pretty much consists of mine all the things. Mine the things, produce the things, so that we can make more things. With that said, we also are going to want to make walls later and all that goodness. So that's something that I'm definitely going to be doing. But I'm probably going to develop that. Show that off in my more developed world. And that's just because it's easier, it'll be faster, and this video's already close to as long as I want it to be. So I'm going to finish up some more iron, and then we'll talk more about some of the other things that we can get, and how upgrades and all that goodness work. Drop more iron in there. And then, of course, as soon as I can, we make another burner mining drill. And then after I have that burner mining drill, I will start making it automatically mine the iron. Because, I mean, who wants to mine iron, really? Legitimately? Nobody. So, we make the thing do it for us. Because that's what mankind does. We make machines that do things for us that tick off the wildlife. Let's be honest. But, who cares about that? Right now, we are taking over this planet because my ship, I'm supposed to be prepping it for colonization. So then, anything from that will run right into that chest. And in order to really cover much more, like I can go into the inserters and all of that in this world, I would just take so long, and I'll probably get killed by those guys, even though they're kind of moving away. I am kind of concerned, though, because the pollution is spreading and there aren't any live trees to stop it, and if it hits there, I'm going to be in for some fun. So anyway, for that, tutorial, save. Now we're going to load a game, and we're going to jump right on into first try. Now, as you can see right here, I have 13 hours in this world. I have not had this game very long. 13 hours is ridiculous. I have spent way too long on this world, but it's been a lot of fun, and it is my first world, so you can call me a cheater if you want, It's peaceful. And I'm happy with it. I'm actually quite pleased with it, and I have no complaints. So, all in all, pretty much goodness at its finest. So we're going to load up first try. Now, as you can see, there is quite a bit more going on here. We've got these train tracks. That's what they are. Couldn't remember that for some reason. That stuff mining coal. And then we have me getting hit by a train. So, we have whatever this is. Now, when I put my cursor over it, it's got these weird lines. What that means is that that's an underground transport thing. Now, the train's going to come in here. And I'm going to watch it, because last time it like, ran me over. And while I'm recording, that's not really okay. So these guys just frantically start unloading the stuff that comes from the mining station below. And then this guy loads up the train with coal. And then when he gets down to the mining space, he unloads all of that coal. Now here we've got all kinds of madness going on. This thing is dropping these copper plates. Remember, those were copper plates, not transport belts like the tutorial tip hint thing said. I know I shouldn't be OCD about that, but I am. This is wrong. Actually, it's not. But anyway. And then those release, they move, and the train takes off, and this guy just sits here, and he's like, I don't know what to do anymore. So you can see from here we've got an iron miner. Now this is a more advanced, this is an electric one, it's also kind of broken. We can and will fix that right now. There we go. All better. Now it's not anymore broken. I may or may not have hit that with a car. So this actually runs underground in those spaces that you see there. And then it comes out here. The iron comes out here, gets dropped in this chest. It is always a good idea to have a chest between inserters when going into a furnace. It prevents overflow and buildup on, or helps resist, because it doesn't prevent, I've had them overflow, on your transport belts. So all the iron gets dropped into here, gets dumped in here. It cooks it into iron plates, which are then dropped down here. Some of them are put in storage. Others are put through this splitter, which then takes some of them, drops it in this furnace, which takes, like, 5 of them? Yes, 5 of them. Cooks them up, and then turns them into steel plates. Pretty awesome. And the splitters are amazing. They just are. And this train, it could stay at one location or the other longer than it does, but that doesn't really matter. Over here is my automatic coal management. I mean, remember what I said about iron, preventing iron from stacking up and it not being a thing that can be done? Exhibit A. Any resource that wants to will eventually stack up. So the iron's coming from here, it's splitting up over here, then this guy's taking it, dropping it in here, and that's getting inserted to that furnace, and this is coming to this furnace. Problem is that the chest got full because I'm producing iron faster than my furnaces can cook it. Creates an issue. I will increase that, improve this, you know, do something to make it, I don't know, more awesome. But eventually, like, it can keep up again. A lot of times what I end up doing is, that one's not full. That one is I just take a couple of rows of the stuff. And then I drop it in a chest somewhere, and if I ever happen to be short on iron, which I almost never am because I'm amazing, then I will, again, refill it. And this guy takes a while. He tends to move in twos and then slow down, but he's also passing into this chest, which is then getting dropped into another furnace up here. which I totally forgot about. So it was partly this chest getting full that was causing some of the overflow blockage. So with all of that, you now see why it is so important to do things the way Professor Ion tells you to do them. Now, just because, you know, this is iron production plant, when I eventually run out of iron from my iron mills, I'm going to want this iron back. So I'm just going to drop it here. Remember that control click, pretty awesome. Now, these plates are then running to another chest, which is then split off by these blue inserters. I'll go over the different types of inserters probably sooner. Sooner than later. This video is going to be a bit long. And then that runs up to here to the assembling machines, which I will also show how they work. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here. This is my storage area. I have a car, science stuff, and we'll talk about tech another time. Tech is pretty much, you look at it, you click on it, you say, alright, when inserters are moving from one container to another or loading, unloading trains, they can move more items at the same time. Well, do you want that? Or would you prefer higher lab efficiency? Or logistics robots? So that's all based on preference. So you just kind of read over it and say, okay, so do I want the long-handed inserters and assembling machines or something else? Because these are more early grade tech, as you'll notice. Kind of goes from left to right and says, ha, this is new, this is old. So I happen to have a few transport belts and a few on hand. What I'm going to do is I'm going to dump out my inventory here, clean it up a little bit, take a steel furnace, inserters. I do believe I have a chest that I just put inserters in, or at the very least have a chest with some more inserters in it, or not. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but it's okay. Let me grab, where'd I put them? Gears. So these gears are pretty great, and they're used in a lot of crafting. And since I wanted to make inserters, I'm going to need iron plates, electric circuits, and gears. The electric circuits pretty much just consist of iron plates and copper cabling, which, hey, guess what? I happen to have a crap ton of. And crafting them isn't that hard. So we're going to take some copper plates. We'll get some iron plates out of... which chest has the least? Generally, I try and keep 3 of all of the basic crafting resources on hand at the same time. Now, of course, I could craft a bunch of those electric circuits, but when you have electric circuits auto-crafting hanging out around here somewhere, it's generally easier to just pick up a whole crap ton of them and say, hey, guess what? I'm going to use you. And though I'm not actually increasing my production because these aren't crafting as fast as I'm crafting the science packs, it's close enough. It's still cool. So, we got some electric circuits. We got all the cabling and such. I don't think we actually will need anything, to craft these. So we'll craft a couple of different kinds, and I'll go over how all of them work. Burner inserters are like your regular inserters. They just run on coal. So that's, that's all there is to them. These red transport belts are fast. They're just faster. That is all they do. It is the only thing that would make them any better or worse than anything else, is that they are faster. And I'm short on transport belts. That's an uncommon thing to have. Anyway. And I'll take some of those and some of those. We'll let those craft. And then, you get all these other things from researching. Like, you get the iron chest and then the wooden chest in the beginning. Then you increase what you can from researching. Like, I researched steel crafting, steel processing, and I got steel picks, steel plates, and a steel chest. Then I had to go to advanced metal processing to get the steel furnace, and then I had to go to the second tier to get the electric furnace, which is so worth it. because furnaces that run on electricity are awesome. So, let's take a look at some of the awesome things that we can do here. I'm just going to take a couple more of these, and we're going to take a chest here and put a bunch of stuff in it. And of course, you remember we crafted those electric circuits, and it was kind of like a pain. So we're also going to take these guys here, and we're going to put the copper cables in them. Now, of course, you have to craft copper cables from the copper plates, but you can have auto crafting set up for before that. Now, let's take a look at this. We take these guys, we can run them alongside of each other, they won't interfere. You can hit R and rotate them to face different directions, including towards the opposite one, which just causes items to sit here in the middle. Like the thing said, if I take one of these, turn it around, right-click places, it's the build button. I heavily suggest you play the tutorial to understand the basics of the game. Right-click, it'll change the facing of it. They will auto-turn, it doesn't matter if, you run it out. And then I just decide, okay, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to remove these. It will just auto-connect the turn. Not a big deal. Pretty cool, though. Alright. Then we move right along. I do have an autocrafter, or assembling machine with me. And we're going to set him, I'm going to say, here. Alright. Now, as I said before, always a chest before inserting anything into anything else. Unless, of course, you're taking from a conveyor belt to a chest, in which case you don't need a chest before it unless you want increased storage. So, we're going to take our inserters that were used to craft the other inserters, that we will have here in a moment. And, of course, I could have saved myself some time by making the gears. Anyway, you'll notice when I place them that I have a flat line and then a arrow. Flat line is where the inserter will be pulling items out of, and the arrows where they will be putting them. So now this one will pull out of. You put your cursor over it, it'll show you. Be pulling out of this chest and onto this conveyor belt. And this one will be taking from this conveyor belt to this chest. Now, one thing I heavily suggest against is you don't want to have conveyor belts running directly up against the inserter, because then items get stuck like in the same space as the inserter, and the inserter can't pick them up. Creates all kinds of confusion, gets really annoying really fast. Now, of course, you'll notice that these are flashing. They don't have power. Well, we can bring power down from any number of places, and of course, because I have my electrical system so close, we're just going to pull power down. You set your power lines the same as you would set any other item. And if there is a blue line around it, it means that the power line that you're about to place will power that item. Quite simple, quite easy. And they have limited spaces, but you can increase. You can make better ones like the medium electric pole, and then the big electric pole, and then the small electric pole. They all do different amounts of length that you can cover. Like this one has a supply area of a 4x4, and it has a 30 wire reach. This one has a supply area of 7x7. That's kind of cool. Wire reach is only 9. This wire reach is 8, and it's got a 5x5. So that makes a significant difference. We also have lights in this game, and guess what? They light things up. Quite useful at night. Now you'll notice that all of this is getting moved from the chest. Inserters pulling out of there, putting in here, coming over here. Quite easy. Pretty awesome, though. Pretty awesome, if I do say so myself. I can't really complain about it. So, next, if we set up the next set of inserters, like so, and hook this here, these will move over. Now, let's look at another type of inserter, because that's pretty slow, to be honest. Let's take some fast inserters, because who doesn't want things that are faster, right? So, fast inserter, and of course we can just build over top of the old ones. And we'll start here. These guys are fast as compared to the other. And now if we start placing them lining up against this as soon as I set a crafting recipe, which I believe I wanted electric circuits, it will begin to load them, and I wanted iron plates, not gears. Well then, that was a bit of a fail. We'll take care of that right quick. I will fetch me some iron plates and toss the gears back in their box. Okay. Now, all of the things will get just thrown right across there. Iron plates will build up in here and be required in here. Thing is it's not crafting anything yet. Well, that's because it doesn't have anywhere to put the stuff. So, of course, if we place an iron chest, we can then place a fast inserter. Well, that's all well and good. You know, that's pretty neat. Of course, it does have to be powered, so best way to do that is to put it in the reach of an already existing power unit. Just like so. And, of course, R rotates just about anything you can place. Nice and easy. Changes things around. So let's look at something different. This guy, you'll notice that the back line and the arrow are farther away. This is called an extended arm thing. Yeah, it's a long-handed inserter. It's pretty awesome. So, we're going to take this guy and we're just going to run him right across to here so that he gets power. Now that long-handed inserter is just going to do his thing. He's pretty happy to be there. He's happy to be alive. Not that that's completely relevant because he is an inanimate object, but shh, don't tell him that. He'll be depressed. So we'll toss that chest there. Well then, what if we throw a bunch of other stuff in it? But we only want to get one thing out from a certain direction. We're going to use these green guys. These green guys are called smart inserters. They are any logistic, anybody that wants to do anything that makes sense, is organized and stuff, wants these guys. You right click on them, you set their filter up to 5 items. Pretty awesome. Red wire connection, green wire condition. It has to do with the logistics system. I'm not getting into that in this basics video. That is already way too long. So we just set this one to output electric circuits. Pretty great. He's just going to output them electric circuits. I can no longer make any more chests because I put my steel plating in here. Or not. Oh, I did. Never mind. So, make 5 more of those because I have plenty of steel plating laying around. These guys are, of course, only standard range. And what else did we have in there? We want some conveyor belts coming out as well. That I can't find on this list. Does it scroll? It does not scroll. There they are. I was just being blind. And then we'll want the copper things, bars things. Now those are as fast as the fast inserters, which is fantastic. The long arm ones are not, but of course they're longer, so they are going to take longer to get things transferred around. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, there are engine systems. These are pretty heavily important. I'm going to run you over the basics of these really quick. And then leave you to figure out your own designs. You'll notice here, I have this water. It's at 70, 80 degrees, and it's increasing. That's because the water is running through boilers. The idea is that the water gets pumped through here, comes up this way, goes this way, or this way. Regardless, it gets shot through, it hits these boilers on this side, comes back around, goes this way or this way, it will get shot through a set of boilers. So these run at max performance. This one varies. It's a design flaw. It's my fault. This one is always at 100%. I'm not sure what the difference is. And I, of course, have inserters and everything auto-refilling this and automatically keeping this thing up to speed. So you just take a steam engine. You'll need a pump connected to water, connect the pump, and then run water into the steam engines with boilers. These boilers have to have fuel, which is coal. I have not seen an electric boiler ever in this game yet, but it is, of course, also still not officially and fully released. It is officially released. It's not fully released and fully done. And then, of course, in order for that to work, you have to connect an electrical wire to each one so that it can pull stuff out. Pretty awesome. And I, of course, have my auto mining rigs. This one's only got 532 left. I'll relocate it. This one's got 12,000 coal left to mine. It'll take them a while to finish it up. And then I'll have to relocate to a different coal van, probably over there, run a train, whatever. Do some awesome stuff. That's really all there is to it. This water temperature fluctuates. It just kind of like some days it decides it's going to have a bad day, and some days on those bad days I can remove that pipe. And then that'll increase this water temperature. But then at the same time, it tends to decrease this water temperature. I'm not even sure. At all. Okay. I know there's a better way to do it, like if I were to put boilers here. But whatever. We'll let one of the engines is going to run at a little bit lower power, but it doesn't matter because I've never... The only time I ever pull max power out of these things is at night. And at night, that's when my solar panels kick off, and my solar panels do produce a significant amount of energy, as do my basic accumulators, which gather energy all day. You look at my production. I didn't want production, I actually wanted this. You'll notice that I'm producing 3.5-ish, 3.3-ish kilowatts. Now, of course, each different item is using a different percentage of that, and this shows me what it is. 1.5 kilowatts on the electric mining drills. 500 and some on fast inserters that I have 121 of in this base connected to this. I like those. 34 lamps that are using 406.6 watts. And the list goes on to the different things. Only other thing to be discussed about research is that you have to have a lab. And it has to have the things you need for research. So you're always going to need Science Pack 1 at least. Later you'll need Science Pack 2, and then Science Pack 3, and then Alien Science Pack. Research in this game gets intense. Now, of course, I'm auto-crafting these things because they're a pain to get otherwise. So, this has been Professor Ion, and this has been my Factorio introductory / explanation of how things work somewhat video. I hope you enjoy it. Remember to like the video if you like the video, dislike the video if you dislike the video, and comment and subscribe. And, as always, have a nice day, and I'll catch you guys later.